If you can't tolerate ambivalence, uncertainty, not really knowing what things mean, and not really knowing what to do and not being able to come to conclusions yet, then you will never break free from the effects of being raised in a toxic family system with a narcissistic or psychopathic mother or father. And the reason it'll never happen is because the only way you can start building a sense of self and actually lead a boundaried life where you thrive and that reflects your values is if you stop taking cues from your family. And you're probably used to those cues. You probably know what they are. You probably know what the unwritten rules to belong to your family system are. And it could be a number of things. It could be like, hey, if I get into a relationship, I have to have an unhappy marriage. Otherwise, I won't be able to connect with my mother, who only badmouths my dad. And that's literally the only way that we can have a conversation is by bad-mouthing our husbands, right? So then like you think that you have to have an unhappy marriage because otherwise you can't connect with your mother or you can't have conversations, you know? Or maybe the unwritten family rule is you need to be a loser financially, right? You can't outdo your parents. Or maybe the unwritten family rule is that you need to be depressed and unhappy, right? You can't have success or mental health. Or maybe you can't be feminine and you know, take care of your appearance. Or maybe you need to be hyper feminine and always be worrying about your appearance. Whatever it is, every family system has a number of invisible rules that we're supposed to follow if we want to be in that system. The problem is when it comes to narcissistic family systems, being in that system systematically degrades our sense of self and our ability to know what we actually want, what we're actually fighting for, what's actually healthy for us, and what we should actually do, right? So you have to start saying no to what those invisible rules tell you to do. And you have to start following something else. And if it's not going to be the invisible rules your family system has, and if you want to build a sense of self, then these new rules have got to come from inside you. They've got to come from your inner compass. They've got to come from your own self. And what's going to happen is cognitive dissonance. When you try to follow your inner whisperings or your inner desires, right? You're going to second guess yourself. Hold up, guys. There's a cat here, and this cat is shaking the camera. Come on, kitty. Go over there. And what you should expect is to second guess yourself because you're literally transitioning from taking cues from your family system to taking cues from like an invisible voice inside you that only you can hear. If you can't tolerate the ambivalence of going back and forth, of being like, oh, I'm an ungrateful child. No, wait, this is what makes sense to me. I can't set boundaries. That means I'm betraying my mom or my dad. No, I need to set boundaries because, you know, healthy relationships cannot exist without boundaries. I need to record without cats. If you can't accept that there's going to be a long phase where you're going to keep going back and forth, and generally this long phase lasts years, okay? Then you're going to default to the old rule just because you can't tolerate ambiguity. If you default to the old rule, it's never going to get better. It's just going to get worse. If you feel empty in your family system, it's going to get worse, man. If you feel judged in your family system, it's going to get worse. If you feel weak in your family system, it's going to get worse, right? So at some point, even if you decide to keep on having contact with your family, you need to make the transition from taking cues from them to taking cues from your inner compass. Your inner compass is going to ask you to do things that feel like betrayal to your family system, right? And that's why I say you need to tolerate ambiguity as you learn how to do these things. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to talk to you about. Let me know in the comments below if you find yourself having a hard time with this ambiguity, with this phase of cognitive dissonance where you keep second guessing yourself. And also let me know how you keep yourself on the right track towards your individuation and your new boundaried life, even with all the craziness going on.